Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face, my card making space, and some fun cards using some of Altenew's February 2026 release. I will have a link to the release in the description box below the video. This one is part of a video hop to share inspiration and ideas, all the things. So there's giveaways, all fun stuff. I will have all that info in the description box below as well, along with like links to the other stops. And then I'll have links to everything I used to make my cards. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links and end up placing an order, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. That is what helps pay the bills, keeps the lights on, keeps my heaters going, enables me to keep bringing out content. And yeah, let's get into making these cards. So first off, a quick sort of overview and first impression of this new watercolor foundation brush set that came out with this release. This is how they come packaged. It's very fancy. I really I don't know what it is about new brushes, and if you've watched my content for any length of time, do I need new brushes? No, but I'm always curious. So they come packaged like this. They've got little protective, covers. And they're also very, very stiff. You will find that with a lot of brand new brushes, the bristles will be very stiff, and it's just a protective coating. And I like to break it up with my fingers first. With these ones especially, and it's recommended on the packaging, and I agree with it. It says to rinse with cool water before first use to remove that. It's almost like gluey. And I would do this at the sink, but I just wanted to show on video, so it took me longer to do this. But I would do it at the sink; it would be a lot faster. But you can feel it on your fingers when you get it wet, and so I would just keep rinsing the brush out until I didn't feel that. It's like a slick feeling is the only way I can describe it. So you just break that up, rinse them off, and they're good to go. So there's a set of 4 round brushes, which I know that those I'll use the most. There's 2 flat brushes. Those are more work for washes and backgrounds, things like that. I will use them, but just not as often. And then there's a little, it's called a soft scrubber, like a little filbert brush. And that one you can use to sort of remove color, do a little bit of painting, what have you. Honestly, personally, I'll probably end up using it more to apply paste, things like that. So with this release, which works very well with watercolor, there was a couple sets of very large florals, which I'm here for. So the set I chose to use for today's video is the Twin Blooms outline stamp set, and they are large. I showed there is a coordinating stencil set for these, so if you are not at all wanting to watercolor color in that way, whatever, there are stencils. Or if you're like me and you like to have both options, wonderful. I do love me some layerings with the stencils, especially Altenew's for the florals. They're just so good. There's so much detail. But I was most definitely in a watercolor mood for these. So I had heat embossed these florals onto Altenew's hot press watercolor paper, and they're big. These watercolor panels are 5x7, just to give you an idea, because I know a lot of you like to make larger cards. I am a standard, North American A2 size card girly, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. But if you like to make bigger cards, this thumb set, worth looking into, because these florals are huge. Love them. So for my watercoloring, I'm using the Moody Brights little compact again, because I can't stop reaching for it. It's just fun. And I pulled out my little Altenew petal palette. I gotta say, I finally cleaned it off. There was a bunch of other stuff on there. That's why I haven't been using it lately, but I cleaned it off the other day, and then I used it for this watercolor, and porcelain really does. It holds watercolor so nicely, and if you know, you know. Trying to get watercolor on little plastic palettes and things that just seem to repel it, it's annoying. It's annoying. But you saw how it just glided so nicely on that porcelain. Anyway, that's just a weird thing that, it just scratches one of my little brain itches. Anyway, this first little bit is in real time. And then I'm going to super speed this up. This first little bit is how I did all of this. So like I said, I'd heat emboss these images. I'd stamp them with Altenew's Obsidian Pigment Ink and then use clear embossing powder so that all the stamp lines are raised now. And it keeps everything a little more contained, which for me is so necessary because I'm impatient and I'm heavy-handed with the amount of water I use, color, etc. So with each of these petals, and with everything really, I wet it first with just clean water. And then I go in with my color. And you saw I had mixed a red and a blue together from the palette to make a purple. And all my petals are going to be this purple and blue sort of mix, just something fun. So I wet each petal with clean water. For this floral, I dropped the purple in at the base of the petal where it touches the center. And then I brought the blue in at the tip. And then I would go kind of back and forth with my brush and let it sort of mix. And then I'd just let it dry and I'd move on. And for all of this, I was using the number 10 round as my large brush to just apply water to each area. And then all my painting I was doing with the number 6 size brush. And again, first impressions, I'm liking them. They hold a lot of color. They hold a lot of water. I like the clear handles. It's a little different from a lot of the other brushes. In fact, most of all my brushes. Because again, I got a lot of brushes. I got a lot. No regrets, man. It's not like they're ever going to go bad. So, yeah, they're comfortable. I enjoyed how they painted. They come to quite a precise tip. The smaller ones in this set are very, very small. So especially if you want to get into very tiny areas or you really want to do like some line work, like painting details, I could have done that with this, but that wasn't where I was going with any of this. So yeah, so far so good. I'm going to keep playing with them. And yeah, all these petals, I just worked my way around and did that purple into the blue. For the leaves, I've got the green from the palette and the yellow. I'm going to mix them together to make it like a brighter green. And I'm going to have the green like just as is from the palette as well. So I've got 2 different shades of green. And then the yellowy shade and the orangey shade, there's specific names for them. I don't have the palette in front of me, and I just go by what the color looks like. So the yellow and orangey shades, put that on the palette. That'll be for the flower center. For the leaves, I did the same thing as I did with the petals. Got it wet with water. Put the darker green towards like the base, like towards the petals, and then that lighter green towards the tip of the leaf. Let it kind of get to know each other, mixed up a bit, let it dry. That's it. And then for the flower center, I just painted it. I didn't do much like on this one, the little fluffy bits. That's what I call them. Very technical. That I did paint with oil, but then everything else I kind of dry brushed on. And I ended up mixing some of the yellow with the little bit of like red and purple I had on my palette, just to give it a little bit of difference. And then the rest I basically kind of dry brushed in. So just picking up the color and just painting straight with that. And just kind of scribbling and using the very tip of my brush. I could have actually gone in with one of the smaller brushes if I'd wanted. But I've kind of built up a habit now over the years of I can use the very, very tip of the brush. Kind of angle it upwards and then just paint really fine little areas. So I did that. And then for the second floral, I did the exact same thing, except I just flipped the colors on the petals. So with this one, I did the blue towards the base of each petal and the purple towards the edge. And that's it. Everything else was the exact same, just changed up the colors a bit, just for funsies. And yeah, it's fun. And I can say that. I can say that because I have been playing with watercolor now for around a decade, maybe long. Honestly, probably longer than that. I can't remember. It's been a long time. And I am much more comfortable with it now, especially now, than I was the first couple years. I'm not sure exactly when I got comfortable with it, but the more you do it, the more you play with it, the more you experiment, the more comfortable you get with it. I don't consider myself anywhere near expert level, not even close. Not even close. But I enjoy it. And always room for improvement, always room to learn more. So, back to these panels. Splatter, of course. I just used the watercolors for the first bits of splatter and didn't even use my splat box, which got it everywhere. But it's watercolor. It cleans up with the water, not the end of the world. But after I did this, like you can see a bit on screen here, but trust me, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. So I was like, maybe pull out your splat box and put these backgrounds in there before. There we go. There we go. You know, it just took me a minute. So I did the blue and then I did the purple just because I could. And just used the same watercolor brush. I think I was using like the number 6, probably, yeah, to do splatter. Brushes like this, these ones, they bounce when you tap. And this is where I do recommend, splat box, just something to contain what you're splattering onto if you're using brushes like this, because the bristles bounce. That's the only way I can explain it, and it will flick the color, whatever it is you're splattering, absolutely everywhere. Just heads up on that. So, added that splatter, and then I wanted to add some gouache as well. So I put the titanium white artist gouache on the palette there, mixed this up, had a couple little dried out chunks that I was just determined. So mix this up, and for this I used my fan brush because this is what I'm most comfortable with and have been using for however many years now. So I heavily splattered that onto both of these backgrounds and then just let everything dry. And after it was dry, I did trim these down to A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And then to add some fancy, some emphasis, to emphasize everything. This is the Frozen Moments Craft Your Life project kit. It's fabulous. I will be revisiting it in future videos. But I took the wafer die set and the frames from this. There's no words. I used the 2 largest frames and I die cut some brush gold cardstock with them. And then ran them through with the embossing folder that's part of that kit. And the embossing folder adds all of the detail. And y'all, I don't know what it is with me and frames lately. That's my other latest thing. Like Altenew's released a couple frames. A couple other brands have released some frame dies. I don't know why I like them so much, but I do. So these are not necessarily sized for such large florals, but I was determined to make it work. So, like I said, I die cut the frames from brush gold cardstock, embossed them with the embossing folder because that's what gives them all that detail. And I did the same thing 2 more times with just white cardstock, and then I'm gluing them together, like layering and stacking these pieces to give dimension, because these frames have a whole bunch of like openings because there's all these flourishes and whatnot. And it was faster and easier to just die cut, emboss, and then glue 2 more layers to each of these frames than it would have been to fiddle with foam tape. If you took the 1/16 of an inch, the 1/4 inch wide foam tape and like cut it in half, like lengthwise, you could probably get that to fit right behind the most inner portion of the frame. That would also work to create a shaker. Just random thoughts. But stacking them was easiest for me. So I stacked them, adhered them, just smack dab in the middle of these panels just to give it that extra something. And then for my sentiments on the front of the card, I pulled out another oldie but goodie, the Cascading Vines press plates. I used just the 2 solid sentiments from this, put them into my better press, and then I've just got a scrap of just white cardstock I'm going to tape to the clear plate here. And then I'm going to ink up those sentiment press plates with that same Obsidian Pigment Ink. And the little plates are going to move everywhere because they're small. And I'll shimmy them back into place in a second here. So ink them up with the Obsidian ink. Get them back into the center where they need to be. They didn't need to be like perfectly straight because I'm just going to trim these out with my scissors. It's going to be fine. But got them back in the center there. Put the clear plate on and then ran this through my Platinum 6 die cut machine. So when I do that, that applies the pressure, presses it in, and then I've got these 2 sentiment labels, which I just, like I said, I just trimmed out with scissors because it's mostly straight lines. I can sort of cut a straight line. The older I get, the worse I get with that though. But I trimmed them out, and then to finish them and make them look even better, I just used the edge of the ink pad and went direct to paper and just coated the exposed white cardstock. A black marker would work for this as well, but the ink pad was sitting there and it was fine. So I edged those little sentiments with that, and then I'm going to use that foam tape, the Instant Dimension foam tape. This is the 1/16 of an inch thickness, 1/4 inch width. So I just trimmed little pieces so that I could superimpose these over those die cut frames to add my sentiments to the front of the card. And then my card bases, top folding A2 white note cards, 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches. And I put these into my stamp wheel, and I'm stamping those large florals again, each one on the inside of the card. And I used, was it Water Hyacinth? I think that was the color. Yes, Water Hyacinth ink, which is from the Blue Mountains quad. So ink them up with that, just a very pale bluish purpley color, fabulous. So stamp that on the insides. And then once I got those stamped, I'm going to ink up and stamp sentiments from the Twin Blooms set. And those I'm going to stamp with the Obsidian Pigment Ink. So that'll finish off the insides of these cards. And then once those are all stamped, I adhered the card fronts with the frames to each of these card bases, just matching up each floral with what I stamped on the inside. And then my final embellishment is some stellar sequins in antique gold that I have dumped into one large container. Because these packs come with like 6 different sizes, I think. I think it's 6 different sizes. And they're all like individually packaged, which is awesome. You know, I do love it. And I couldn't resist dumping them all into one container. So they're all mixed up. And a part of me does love dumping them out like this and picking through it like a little weirdo. Because my inner magpie just loves the shiny. I don't know, y'all. Just, it is what it is. So dumped them out into a pile. That's only a small fraction of how many sequins come in one of these packs. It's a lifetime's supply. Love it. And the antique gold goes perfectly with the brush gold cardstock. So again, my inner magpie was very appeased with this. And when I'm adhering sequins specifically, I actually prefer tweezers over something like the Perfect Picker, like the wax tools. I like the tweezers. It's just easier to pick them up. And then, as you can see, I like press it with the tweezers and sometimes my fingers. Just press each sequin into the glue, let it dry, and then we're good to go. These cards were so fun. We got watercolor and splatter and these gorgeous frames and sequins and all the things. All the things. These were just, I had a lot of fun. And the purpley blue combo also, lovely. So, like I mentioned in the intro, I will have links to all the things, info about the hop, etc., in the description box below the video for you to check out if you're interested. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping and commenting. I appreciate it a lot, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!